Good morning, everybody. This is James Hendricks at OZB Barbecue headquarters. I'm going to be talking about Bonemaker Game Seasoning today. Bonemaker Game Rub is what's on the table. We're going to be going over my patented Bonemaker Venison Meatballs. Now, I have shown different ways of making the meatballs for you guys, but today I'm going to go over just a basic one. That way you can eat these meatballs for anything. You can eat these meatballs just on a sandwich with a little sauce on it. You can put it in your spaghetti. You can put it in your mac and cheese. So we're just going to dive right into it today, guys. Now, I talk fast. I cook faster because cook hot and fast. But what I got here is I got a pound of venison. Ground venison, boys. What I'm going to be adding to it is just one egg. This egg is just the binder. Next thing I'm going to be adding some of these nice sweet onions. You can use any type of onion you like. I enjoy sweet onion. That's why I want to do it. Some of you guys might like those nasty yellow onions, or some of that other stuff. They're all for good stuff, but I prefer the sweet. And you're like, James, how much are you putting in there? Be quite honest, it's just a pound of ground venison. I'm only adding about less than a quarter of a cup, about eighth of a cup. You're gonna notice a lot of times when I'm cooking, I've done it so long that I'm just gonna be putting stuff in here and you're going like, how much is that? We will post the actual recipe online for you. We've been cooking so long, most time eyeballing it, we get somewhere close where we wanna be. So really, right now, I'm under a quarter of a cup of onions, chopped finely. Next, I have the roasted garlic breadcrumbs. I prefer the roasted garlic. We have garlic in our rub. However, I like that little bit of extra garlic to go in there just with the breadcrumbs, because if you're going to be throwing breadcrumbs in there, it might as well be seasoned up. You can get regular breadcrumbs if that's what you prefer, but why buy just regular when you can get something that's seasoned up already for you? I'm just going to add a little bit for right now, because once I start combining everything in together, I'm going to be adding some more. I want these meatballs to be, together, but I still want them to be kind of moist a little bit as I add them to the smoker. Next, we have the game rub. Now you're going to say, James, how much game rub? Because we've heard from your buddy, your partner, Nate, that go sparingly on some of these finer cuts of meats, like say chicken, or the venison, or the steaks you're going to be seeing later on another video. You guys remember, you got to go sparingly on stuff that are thin cuts of meat. You got bigger cuts of meat, hit it and wow it. On ground, you're going to hit it and wow it, because I'm going to be putting it directly into the ground. And I'm going to put a little seasoning on afterwards, but I want to season it from the inside out. So you're going to notice that you're going to say, whoa, James. No, I'm going to put almost, a third of a cup in there, I want it to, when I put it on there, I want to feel it. I want to taste it. Once I get to that point, now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to get my hands dirty. This is part about being a hunter. We got our saying, for hunters by hunters. Nate worked on these rubs for quite a few years to kind of come up with it. I was just a lucky pit master to be able to partner up with him to work on, doing the cooking and doing some of the seasoning testing. But you know what? Sometimes you got to pull your sleeves up and get right in it. And I'm not going to overwork it, guys. A lot of times guys get a problem where, they get involved in the meat and they overwork the meat. Don't overwork it. You're just combining all the ingredients. Don't get in there and do it. You can tell when it has the right consistency. Right now, I'm still a little wet to my liking, so I'm going to add a little bit more of the breadcrumbs. Now, some of you guys have seen on my Facebook post when I made these before, I went with about 4 ounces of a rolled meatball. Well, to be quite honest, guys, that's just for the bigger guys like myself. One of those meatballs is good for a snack. I got a lot of weightlifting friends and people who, do the CrossFit that are just looking for a protein pack. Remember, venison's one of the most lean meats that you can eat, and I tell you what, it's a meat that's going to fill you up. However, when you're just making it for family, You don't have to make a power ball, you know, just make a regular size meatball, go about an ounce. And some of you guys are like, well, how do I know what an ounce is? Well, I'll tell you what, just get a spoon out, a big spoon, not a kid spoon, and just kind of, you know, do your thing with it, you know, measure it out. So that's kind of how one big meatball would look. You know, I'm not cooking one big meatball. Everything right there is kind of where I want it. I'm gonna come back in and they're gonna say, well, how do you know what an ounce is, James? Well, we were all young once, and an ounce was a lot different then than what it is now. So I'm just gonna roll this together. Boom, that's my first meatball. You notice the onions are showing through. I like onions, guys. I know a lot of guys out there do not like onion. You know what? You gotta get creative with it. I prefer onions, especially in my game meat, because there's a nice subtle flavor to it. You're still gonna be able to taste the game a little bit. But however, if like most wives, like my wife, she does not like the taste of game. So honestly, I do what I can to, you know, comfort that taste. And these meatballs right here are actually some of my wife's favorites. So she actually eats deer when I make the meatballs. So you're saying, well, how many meatballs can I get out of a pound, James? Well, you can get quite a few. It's all about how big you're gonna make them. And remember, the smaller you make the meatball, the less amount of time it's gonna take to cook for you, especially us cooking hot and fast. Now listen, if you don't have a smoker, don't worry about that. I mean, we're just pit masters. That's what we like to cook on. You can bake these in the oven. Something a little different when you're using an oven is that, you know, go 30 minutes, go in there, hit it with some sauce. Next 30 minutes, go in there, hit it with some sauce. You know, you're cooking about 300 degrees in the oven, and you know what? You just take it to a temp. Listen, on ground, you take it to 160. It's not like you're cooking a steak. It's not like you're cooking a roast. You're taking ground to 160. It's just different. You want to make sure it's cooked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep finishing up, working up these meatballs. You guys stay tuned. Once we get ready to put them on the smoker, we'll go back live for you, hit them up. If you got questions, just give us a shout, you know, on the video, or send us an email, you know. This is James Hendricks, OZB Barbecue Headquarters, talking Bonemaker Game Seasoning. See you soon. That's a good starting point. At 45 minutes, if they're about 145 degrees of internal temp, I'm gonna go ahead and hit them with some of the Bonemaker juice. That's called barbecue sauce, but we call it Bonemaker juice. So guys, this is what we're gonna do. We're getting ready to put them on. This is my good friend Nate over here. He's the mastermind. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, we got these all loaded up, ready to go. They had to come over and help me with the lid. He's younger than I am. Hey, this is James Hendricks, Nathan Ward, OZB Barbecue. Once these get these finished up, we'll get back on here and we'll keep going through the process. Appreciate your time. Looking forward to everything we're going through right now. James Hendricks. Hey, this is James Hendricks back in OZB Barbecue Kitchen. Right now we're getting back to our venison meatballs. They've been on the smoker now for a little over an hour. We're cooking hot and fast, 300 degrees, about 142 degrees internal temperature. I went ahead and put on the first coat of the bone juice barbecue sauce. Right now we're up to 160 degrees. We're going ahead and going to get them taken off. We're going to put a little bit more of the bone juice on them, and then we're going to let them set for a little bit, and then we're going to be tasting. So guys, I'm happy you're with us. Let's get this done. Trick of the trade, fellas. Hot glove, nitro glove, smoker. You don't need all the fancy equipment you see out there, guys with pigs, guys with a bunch of different things. All we're doing is boom, straight off. Your hand can take the heat. good friend Nate here. He's checking the tent, make sure we're at where we want to be.
Also going to add real quick, guys, if you don't have a temp gun, a thermal gun, there's a lot of different companies that make them. They're really not that expensive anymore. This one's an instant read, reads in 2 to 3 seconds. This is crucial for any kind of barbecuing.
And I understand some of you guys, one more thing to take to the campsite when you're hunting. Well, the thing is you either take that or you're going to be spending the time in the John. And we know how much TP is right now for the crucial developments in the world. Oh, guys, I'm telling you what. Woo! Smelling good, looking good. I don't even know if I can wait to taste one. I'm telling you what. Little secret. Our good friend Nate here, his wife's pregnant. She's gonna be fighting him tonight for these. Look at those puppies. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, guys. Mmm. That's what I'm talking about, fellas. This is James Hendricks, OZB Barbecue Kitchen, Venison Meatballs, out.